Welcome everybody to the English class of Tarsis. Topic Prose 1 Book Back Exercises. Hello, my dear students. Welcome to the fifth day of the video in our class. Last four classes, we have completed the first unit. We have seen the prose and the explanation. Now, in this video, let us see the overall view and if possible, let us see the book back exercises, all those things. Alright, good. Let us see the summary of the prose, the short story. This short story, The Portrait of a Lady, has been written by the famous Indian writer Khushwant Singh. He served as the editor of several literary news and magazines. As a writer, he is best known for his keen secularism, sarcasm, and love for poetry. In this short story, he describes the love and affection between a grandson and a grandmother. It may have some autobiographical notes also. The grandmother was an old lady with a wrinkled skin. She must have been very pretty in her youth. Her husband, the grandfather's portrait, was hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room. He wore a big turban and loose-fitting clothes. He had a long white beard which covered the major portion of his chest, and he looked as if he was 100 years old. Grandmother had always been short, fat, and slightly bent. She walked around the house in clean white dress. She always kept one hand on her waist to balance her stoop and the other telling the beads of her rosary. The grandmother and the author were good friends. The author was left with his grandmother in the village because his parents went to live in the city. She used to help him to go to school. Every day morning she recited her prayer, thinking that the author would listen and learn the prayer by heart. When she accompanied him to school, she carried some stale chapatis for the stray dogs. While children inside a temple learnt alphabet and prayer, she sat inside and read the scriptures. When the parents were settled comfortably in the city, they called the author and the grandmother. In the city, the author and his grandmother were not very close. She did not accompany him to school. She was not happy to know that in city school they did not teach about God. She was not interested in the music class too. When he joined the university, he was given a separate room and the common link between grandson and grandmother was broken. She spent most of her time with the spinning wheel reciting her prayers. In the afternoon, she sat in the veranda feeding hundreds of little sparrows with broken bread pieces. When he went abroad for further studies, his grandmother went up to the railway station, but she was not emotional. After 5 years, he came back. She was at the station to receive him. When she embraced him, he could hear reciting prayers. That evening, a change came over her. She did not pray. She collected some old ladies from the neighborhood and was playing a drum for a long time without minding their words to stop that. Next day she fell ill. The doctor said that it was not serious, but she said that her end was near. She stopped talking to her people. She lay peacefully in bed praying with her beads. In a short time she died. When her body was lifted for cremation, thousands of sparrows spread all over the place. When the author's mother threw some bread crumbs, they refused to eat. When her body was carried out of the house, all the sparrows flew away quietly. So, my dear students, this is the summary of the short story. Alright, good. My dear students, this is the glossary that is given at the end of the short story. Shall we read it? Mantelpiece, shelf projecting from the wall above fireplace. Absurd, meaning illogical or inconsistent. Fables, tales or stories. Hobbled, walked unsteadily. Pucker, to contract the face into wrinkles. Expanse, widespread. Monotonous, unchanging or boring. Snapped, broke or cut. Seclusion, isolation. Bedlam, noisy confusion. Pecked, sat or rested. Rebukes, scoldings. Dilapidated, damaged. Pallor, an unhealthy pale appearance. Shroud, kind of cloth used to wrap a dead person. So this is the glossary that has been given in our book. Next, my dear students, let us see the textual exercises. First one. Answer the following in one or two sentences based on your understanding of the story. The first question goes like this. Describe the grandfather as seen in the portrait. The answer, please make a note of it. In the portrait, the grandfather was found wearing a big turban and loose-fitting clothes. He had a long white beard which covered the major portion of his chest, and he looked as if he was 100 years old. Students, the next question is, why was the author left with his grandmother in the village? I repeat, why was the author left with his grandmother in the village? The answer, the author was left with his grandmother in the village because his parents went to live in the city. Good. Question C. Where did the author study in his childhood? I repeat, where did the author study in his childhood? The answer, the author studied in the village in his childhood. His school was attached to a temple and the priest was their teacher. Students, question D. Why did the grandmother accompany the author to school? I repeat, why did the grandmother accompany the author to school? Answer, the grandmother accompanied the author to school because she had a chance to feed the stray dogs with stale chapatis. Moreover, she had time to read scriptures inside the temple. That is the answer. Students, question E. What made the dogs follow the grandmother after school hours? I repeat, what made the dogs follow the grandmother after school hours? The answer, when the grandmother with the author went back home, she used to throw chapatis to the dogs. So the dogs followed the grandmother after school hours. Alright? Question F. Why didn't the grandmother feel sentimental when the author went abroad for higher education? I repeat, why didn't the grandmother feel sentimental when the author went abroad for higher education? The answer is, the grandmother was old, but she believed that she would live to see the author after his completion of studies abroad. So she was not sentimental. Question G. What was the happiest time of the day for grandmother? I repeat, what was the happiest time of the day for grandmother? The answer, in the afternoon, the grandmother felt relaxed to feed the sparrows with bits of bread. That was the happiest time of the day for grandmother. Students, we have next set of short questions. Let us see. Answer the following questions in 3 or 4 sentences each. Good. Describe the author's grandmother. The answer, the author's grandmother was an old woman with wrinkled skin. She had been like that for 20 years. Once she had been young and pretty. Question B. What was the daily routine of the grandmother at home? I repeat the question. What was the daily routine of the grandmother at home? The answer, the grandmother walked about the house in the neat white dress. She always had a rosary with her. Every morning she woke the author up for the school. While she bathed him, she said her prayer. Then she went to school with him. She had some stale chapatis with her to feed the stray dogs. Question C. How is school education in the village different from that in the city? The answer is, the village school was attached to a temple. The priest acted as the teacher and taught the children alphabet and morning prayer. In the city, children are taught English, Western science and music. There is no teaching about God and the scriptures. Students, question D. The grandmother appreciated the value of education. Give instances in support of your answer. The answer could be, according to the grandmother, children should be taught prayer and scriptures. She was very upset to know that in city school there was no teaching about God. She did not think that the subjects taught in the school would teach any value to the children. Students, question A. The grandmother was strong-minded. Justify. The answer is, when the author decided to go abroad for further studies, he thought that the grandmother would be upset, but she was not even sentimental. When she went to the railway station with the author, she did not show any emotion. She only prayed for the author. Students, question F. How did the grandmother spend the last few hours of her life? The answer is, when the grandmother realized that her end had come, she stopped her prayer. She gathered some women. She got an old drum and sang the homecoming of warriors. The next morning, she was taken ill. The doctor said that it was not serious, but she said that her end was near. She stopped talking to her people. She lay peacefully in the bed, praying and saying her beads. In a short time, she died. My dear students, here is a paragraph questions. Generally, paragraph questions should be answered in a short and sweet manner. Alright, let us see for example. Answer the following in a paragraph of 100 to 150 words each. Question. The grandmother played a vital role in the author's formative years. Give your own example of how elders have a positive influence on the younger generation. Include examples from the story also. See, in the paragraph you can write the title, author, theme. Don't write synopsis like introduction and subtitles. All those things are not necessary, as if you are writing. Kushwant Singh describes the importance of grandmother in shaping the life of the author. When the author was a child, his whole life was filled with the activities of his grandmother. When the author was left to the care of the grandmother, he was led by her from morning till evening. In his formative period, she taught him the importance of prayer and God. Usually, the elders play a vital role in the life of children. Elders are experienced people who understand what is good for the future of the children. So, they could have a positive influence on the younger generation. In this story, the grandmother took him to school which was attached to the temple. There, children were taught good values. She showed her strong will to the author, which must have influenced him. At the end, you can have a quotation. Even you can add a quotation in the beginning of the paragraph. For example, here, kids don't remember what they try to teach them. They remember what you are. So something like that, you can write a quote in the beginning of your paragraph and at the end of your paragraph. Alright.